Solution. Today we are going to see family law first, all questions and what can be the synopsis for those questions. There might be various ways to write answer. This is one type of way to write answer, and these are certain points must be come in any question. So let's start with the first question. Now the question talking about what is sacramental nature of Hindu marriage and how it is has been evolved or it is changing uh, in today's era. So in introduction we'll discuss about marriage is a social institution and importance of marriage in society. Coming on essentials of marriage, we must have to write Section 5 and Section 7 of Hindu Marriage Act, which talks about what is the criteria for a valid marriage under Hindu Marriage Act, and Saptapadi, that is essential ceremony for the Hindu marriage, valid Hindu marriage. Now, while discussing the various factors which are playing a role in changing nature of Hindu marriage, so we'll start with ancient Hindu law. What was the concept of marriage back then? So there were no concept of divorce. There was permitted polygamy, or there was no concept of remarriage. These are certain points which determined how was the nature of marriage in ancient era. Now, impact of British era or British government. British government passed various laws which was directly in proportionate with the nature of marriage which was prevailed in ancient era. So which were those laws? So these are certain laws which plays a role in to change the nature of Hindu Marriage Act. So Indian Majority Act, which determines what is age of majority. Then we have Prevention of Child Marriage Act, then Indian Divorce Act, then Hindu Widow Remarriage Act. You must sure that you are writing right years. Okay. Then the recent concepts of live-in relation and same-sex marriage. These are important case laws, and you know about these cases. Then this case is important while discussing what is mean by seven steps around the sacred fire. So Supreme Court in this case held that 7 steps mean 7 rounds. So this is some points, some important points you write in your answer. Okay, coming on next question. Here we have to discuss various provisions and for valid marriage under various laws. So these are 5 laws we have to focus because these are part of our syllabus. So for Hindu Marriage Act we have Section 5 and 7. For Muslim Personal Law Shariat Application Act 1937, we have concept of nikah. And what is essential ingredient for nikah? That it is contract. There must be qazi, there must be witnesses, parties must be adult. Now adult, concept of adult is different in Muslim law. So we have to discuss about age of puberty, sound mind. These are certain criteria. In Parsi Marriage Act, in Parsi Marriage and Dissolution Act, Section 3 talks about Ashirwad ceremony. Ashirwad ceremony has defined under Section 2, subsection 8. Now, Special Marriage Act 1954, Section 4 talks about, there are other provisions for valid marriage under Special Marriage Acts, but in this question we are focusing on only concept of valid marriage. So Section 4 talks about valid marriage act. Then Indian Christian Act Section 4 and Section 60. These are 2 important sections for Indian Christian Act. Now certain provisions in every single act are similar, like there must be there should not be any other spouse living at the time of marriage. So certain points are similar for every law. Then foreign marriage act is also part of our syllabus, so we'll discuss on that also. Section 4 to Section 7. Section 4 talks about solemnization of marriage. Section 4 talks about solemnization of marriage, and solemnization of marriage. Section 5 talk about notice of intended marriage. Then section 7 is again important, which talks about certificate of marriage. So these are certain sections which are important, which must we have to include in our answer. And these two case laws, Sarla Mudgal versus Union of India and Leela Gupta versus Lakshmi Narayan. We must have to know these are landmark cases. We're not going to see and elaborate what the cases say. So this is short description about the cases. For your reference, you can go and read these cases. Now, what are the essentials and procedure for marriage under Special Marriage Act? Mention the consequences of marrying under Special Marriage Act. Now, this question might become for every single law we have in our syllabus. So we'll cover every act in likewise this question and this question. So first of all, Special Marriage Act. Now, Special Marriage Act, what it's talking about, what is essential of marriage and procedure for marriage, and consequences of marrying under Special Marriage Act. Now, Special Marriage Act, first of all, essential of marriage. Against the similar concept, section 4 to 14 talks about essentials of marriage and procedure for marriage, procedure for valid marriage. So these are similar points, we know about it. And section 5 to 13 talks about notice. There must be notice of marriage, then publication of notice. If any party has any objection to the marriage, then what is concept of declaration of the marriage, solemnization of marriage, and a marriage certificate. These are certain points must become to in our answer. You can write these points with section wise. What is section for notice, what is section for publication of notice, what is section for objection, declaration. But it's fine if you write in this way as well. It's better you write in proper section wise, but it is also fine. So then consequences, most importantly, because Special Marriage Act has certain different consequences or unique consequences. So it's civil marriage first of all, and there is no essential of any kind of ceremonies. There's no mandatory ceremony under Special Marriage Act. Section 19, 21 and 21 talks about the nature of marriage in Special Marriage Act. It's civil marriage. Then succession rights. When two Hindu parties are registering their marriage under Special Marriage Act, then they can go for succession as per Hindu Succession Act 1956. If two different religious party coming together under Special Marriage Act, then Indian Succession Act will be applicable. Now, legitimacy of children has been discussed in section 18. Then maintenance and divorce parties marrying or registering their marriage under Special Marriage Act are entitled for all maintenance and divorce provisions. Then protection against caste. This is unique effect of Special Marriage Act, because the whole and sole aim of the Special Marriage Act is concentrated on this section. So it provides protection against caste and religious disabilities. Then important case laws, Seema versus Ashwini Kumar. There must be compulsory registration of marriage under Special Marriage Act. Then Srimati Sarla Mudgal versus Union of India, conversion. It talks about conversion. Then Leela Thomas versus Union of India, there must be monogamy. Then sources and schools of Hindu law. Now this question will be asked by changing this Hindu law to Muslim law. So we'll discuss this question as well in our next video. So introduction, you must have to mention concept of dharma while we are discussing or writing answer for source of Hindu law, because the main base of Hindu law is dharma, concept of dharma. Then sources, will divide the sources into ancient sources, medieval sources, modern sources. Again, modern sources will be divided into before independence and after independence. Hindu law in ancient era, Vedic period, then Dharma Shastra period, it has been divided into these two again types. Smrutis, Shrutis, customs. Medieval period, post Smruti commentaries, then usages and customs, then principle of justice, equity, and good conscience. Before independence, there were various laws, as we earlier also has seen that various laws has been passed by British government, which was quite controversial, quite contravention with the previous practices in Hindu law. Sati Prevention Act, then Hindu Widows Remarriage Act, etc. After independence, we have various laws, as well as we have various case laws precedents by court, which plays role in changing the nature of concept of Hindu law or source of Hindu law. So now the sources of Hindu law has not been only limited to ancient periods, commentaries or texts mm, or custom only. Now precedent is also an important source of law in modern period. So we can add certain case laws from privy councils and certain case laws from Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court. Okay. Discuss the essentials and procedure for valid marriage under Parsi Marriage Act and Divorce Act. So now the question has limited scope to write, because it is talking about just essential and procedure of valid marriage. And so discussing on what is valid marriage, section 3 talks about valid marriage, that there must be sound parties must be sound. So another similar provision that there must be monogamy, and schedule 1 talks about prohibited decrees. So parties must not be in prohibited degrees. So section 3 subsection 1b, Ashirvad, concept of Ashirvad is essential ceremony. Then section 2 clause 8 talks about Ashirvad concept. Section 3 subsection 1 C talks about adult parties must be adult. Procedure, while discussing procedure, we have to discuss section 6, 7 and 9, which talks about marriage certificate, appointment of registrar, and sending copy of marriage certificate to Registrar General.